Disclaimer: this video contains footage of a game, several clips, and music that I have no ownership over. Marvel's Spider-Man is owned by Insomniac Games, Sony, and PlayStation. This video is for critiquing and fun parody. Again, nothing in this video is owned by me. This video is protected under the Fair Use Law. Thank you. Please enjoy the video. 2016 was pretty weird, not gonna lie, for a number of reasons. Most notably in the movie world, gems like the first Deadpool movie hit theaters, and boy did people love it. Even games had their time to shine with masterpieces like Uncharted 4. But then you have to remember that 2016 was when Suicide Squad came out, and then you get a little upset. But hey, 2016 wasn't all bad. It was the home of one of the greatest comebacks people of all ages were looking for since 2014. What was that, you may ask? You sure you want to know? He's back. Spider-Man was back. Back because, again, since 2014, people have been searching for a Spider-Man game that was good and not painfully mediocre. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 game was the second movie tie-in that really didn't do that well like its movie counterparts. Don't get me wrong, I love Andrew Garfield's movies. I'm just telling it from the public eye's perspective in the year 2012. So, understandably, people were hungry for something new for Spider-Man. I mean, we technically got that around that time in Captain America Civil War with Tom Holland's interesting take on the character, but gameplay-wise, people were lost. Can't exactly hook up my PS4 to a flat-screen TV and control Tom Holland while he runs hands with Captain f***ing America. No. We wanted something new to the table. And in June of 2016, we got exactly that. All thanks to the E3 trailer promoting the new game, Marvel's Spider-Man. To show you how much care and effort was put into this project, I'm going to explain the opening cinematic of this game. We open with a panning shot over Peter Parker's apartment. It's filled with a bunch of Easter eggs and cool details that clue us in on Peter's life as Spider-Man over the past 8 years. We see photos of himself with his friends, his aunt and uncle, then some Spidey gadgets and agendas. This opening gives us all we need to know about the background of this version of Peter Parker. So it's not like we just poofed into his early adult life without any context. He suits up, has a dilemma regarding his rent, swings out the window, and pulls us along with him to take on this very massive journey together. Marvel's Spider-Man has one of the most engaging and well put together stories out there in a video game, or any Marvel anything period. A perfect story? No, not by any means, but it still has a great idea of what we, as the players, were in for in terms of a storytelling perspective. In the recent years, we've seen our web-slinger either being a dude fresh out of high school, or a dude still in high school and juggling his personal life with his hero life, which has been seen a lot before. This game takes a well-needed breather away from Spidey's roots as a character, and just throws us right into the middle of his life. Which sounds like a bad thing, but believe me, it's one of the best creative liberties we've ever had. We know Spidey's backstory, we know what he's been through as a kid. One thing we have not seen during that time, however, was his life as an adult, and what that would entail. And apparently it entails heartbreak, 10 times more hardships, almost double the amount of villains to fight, and of course, the most dastardly villain any of us will ever have to face. Now, when I say this story is massive, I am in no way exaggerating that point. This game is huge. The story on its own has so many things packed full of it, so much detail, so much care, so much things that I can't even list it off in one video. Well, I could, but then the video would be 5 hours long, because I can ramble about this stuff all day. But I'm sure you didn't come click on this video to watch somebody ramble on and 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 on about one superhero. Instead, I'll try and condense this as much as possible. To start off, Peter swings off to Fisk Tower to take down the kingpin of crime that's been plaguing his life since he probably began his superhero life 8 years ago. Then after going through an entire gauntlet of a tower to finally get to Kingpin, he finally takes him down, messing up his suit in the process, but in the grand scheme of things, a ripped up suit is much better than having a crime lord controlling your city. And right after he swings off and puts the Kingpin away for good, he gets a call about his boss who's putting himself in danger by committing a very, very dangerous experiment. So Peter has to swing right off then, right after dealing with all of that. Can I just take a moment to say how insane that is? Imagine going into an entire dungeon filled with monsters, demons, people all around that want to murder you. You take them all down without breaking a sweat, cracking jokes, and take down the big boss, and then proceed to swing around like it's nothing. I could never do. So the fact that Peter is doing it just shows about how much of a great person and how strong he really is. And it's only gonna get worse from here. As mentioned before, Peter is called over to work by his boss to set up an experiment that surely won't go into flames right when Peter walks through the door. In any case, the game reveals to us that Peter's boss is none other than the genius scientist Otto Octavius. With a name like that, he has to be one of the good guys, right? Right?
Otto! Stop!
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to deal with in like 20 missions. I'm just gonna say it here. Peter Parker is not the only person in this game that gets developed as the game goes on. Otto is being built up to be one of the greatest characters that I've seen in anything by far. He goes from what you see now to this monstrosity. And we get to see everything that happens to him, how it unfolds, and what it means for both Peter and Otto at the same time. And that's one of the reasons why this game's storytelling is stellar. But I'll get into Otto later when we go over the villains. For now, I'll keep explaining why I think this is one of the best interpretations of Peter Parker that I've seen in a long, long time. Namely because he has all of the core parts that makes Peter Parker great, but sometimes the way he delivers lines or is just being himself is just really cool to me. Like, look, he just walked into work, saw his boss doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing on his own. Peter decides to help out. He almost kills himself into an experiment, and then right when someone sees it, Peter automatically, without question, decides to blame himself, to put the blame on him saving his boss's hiney. And that is nothing short of the pure Peter Parker that I would ever see in any Spider-Man anything. Now, I think I've done a pretty good job at explaining why this Peter Parker works and why I really like this version of him in this game. But what about the other side? What about Spider-Man? What has he done in this game that makes me put it so high on the pedestal? Well, simply put, just because he took down the Kingpin in Mission 1, I hope you didn't assume that that was the best he was capable of. No. The best thing that I believe this Spider-Man has done in the game is from one of my favorite missions, probably my most favorite mission in the entire game. And that's when Peter has to save who knows how many citizens on the ground below from a crane that's threatening to crush them. He has to think fast, use all of his resources, his webs, his strength, everything to stop the crane from falling down onto the people below. Now let's just keep in mind that Spider-Man is not the Hulk. He's not a raging monster that has big bulging muscles. He's using his strength alone to not only hold it up for a couple of seconds before he got mollywopped off of it by a wrecking ball. He falls unconscious for like 5 seconds, wakes up, then assesses the situation and gets to work. And he does it. He saves the people below and is still trying to stop the thing that's causing the problem in the first place, which Yuri says in her own words is a
helicopter with a wrecking ball?
So with that in mind, The only thing we need to do is to keep swinging along with Pete while he tries to figure out what the heck he's gonna do next. Which, surprise, surprise, entails swinging after the chopper, getting chucked into a building twice, dodging some rockets, kicking a guy out of a helicopter suspended in the air, and damaging the helicopter so much that it falls toward the people below. And once again, Spider-Man takes care of this issue, no big deal, with those handy-dandy web shooters. And the day was saved with time to spare. Time to spare for what, you may ask? Oh, nothing much, just a political event, right after dealing with all of that. See where I'm going with this? This has happened twice already that I've mentioned, and it's only happened a lot over the course of this game. Spider-Man swings in, sees a very, very high threat, stops it, and then just goes and swings around like it's no big deal. This contributes to the trend that I like to call Peter Parker cannot catch a break. I'm pretty sure we all know this if you watch or read literally anything Spider-Man related, but to sum it up, Peter Parker deals with one thing and has to deal with 10 more things a literal second after. Not to mention, Peter takes a beating over the course of this game. Like, when I tell you how many times this man has been punched or kicked or literally done anything that does damage, like, bruh.
Noted. He's under your protection. You really need 2 of those? Stay out of our way. Okay, only this time, just let me have it. Right on the job. Okay? I can. Oh, shit. I need to get back to work.
The doctor said you still have 14 broken bones.
Which means I have 192 non-broken ones. Thanks for taking care of me, by the way.
Now, comedy aside, I just showed you a compilation of Spider-Man getting folded by an insane number of people across multiple parts of the game. And you know what he does after each one of them? He picks himself back up. No matter how much Spider-Man goes through in this game, which is again a lot, he always finds a way to get right back up to do the right thing. Yes, I'm starting to sound like Spider-Verse Peter, but it's true. When Spider-Man gets knocked down, it's in his character to get back up. Always has been, and this game is no different. He's thrown into so many scenarios and bad situations, and he finds a way to come out of it alive, and finds a way to make things right. Sure, he doesn't get it done right all the time, but nobody's perfect, but he sure as hell tries to. And that's why I love this version of Spider-Man so much. He's inspirational. Spider-Man isn't the only character in this game that gets developed over the course of the runtime either. This game is chock full of amazing characters. Yuri Watanabe, Mary Jane Watson, yes, you heard me, even Miles Morales himself. I will talk about all of these characters, but I think I'll save that for another time. What I will do, however, is talk about Spider-Man's competition. Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery is huge, and we were thankful to see what that entails in this game. I mean, the Sinister Six is in this game, so that speaks for itself. I'm talking Rhino, Electro, Vulture, hell, even Shocker is in this game. All of whom have somewhat lost their mustache-twiddling energy like they have in some other installments of Spider-Man. In this game, they all have a particular reason for doing what they do, no matter how maniacal it may seem. Scorpion's done some pretty messed up crap over his career, so now he wants a clean slate. Rhino has the worst case of claustrophobia ever because he can't get out of his suit. He doesn't want to be the Rhino anymore. Electro wants to become pure energy, which has been seen a lot before in other Spider-Man media, but it's better than being a villain for villain's sake. And the list goes on. The most complex of all of these villains, however, has to be the main villain that we touched upon before, Dr. Otto Octavius. He's had sort of an inferiority complex, always feeling second fiddle to his rival Norman Osborn. So he kept trying to make a name for himself in his own way, with very limited success in some cases. He literally drove himself insane just to try and prove he was worth something. Over the course of the game, we see him change from the calm and collected Otto we met in the first cutscene to the crazed madman that is Dr. Octopus. And to make matters worse, we have to fight this threat along with Peter, which really hits everyone in the feels because we've seen how much Otto fell from grace, and how Peter has to fight his friend and mentor. Someone he cares deeply for has caused so much death and destruction. After the climactic battle and heartbreak, by the end of the game, we triumph over this threat and save the city. At the cost of our dear Aunt May, though, who was so lovable in every scene she was in. I'm not ashamed to admit that I teared up watching that heartbreaking scene. I've talked a lot about this game over the past few minutes, but I haven't even scratched the surface as to what this game has to offer. I've talked so much about the story and the complexity of the game that I haven't even talked about what makes the game a game yet. The gameplay is stellar, the web swinging may be the best we've gotten in the history of Spider-Man gaming, and it's all around a blast to play with, so many opportunities to connect with this wonderful world. If by some slim chance you haven't played this game, even though it came out like 5 years ago, I highly recommend playing this masterpiece of a story to anyone, no matter how old you are. Seriously, you won't forget it. You won't regret it. And with the sequel coming out in less than 2 months from now, you can bet I'll be talking about that one too, if this video does well enough. Speaking of, if you made it to the end of this video, I would like to say I greatly appreciate it. This is my first step into content creation in this format, and I've been experimenting as I went along. I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't, and what I plan on doing on this platform as a whole. If you liked this video, please do me a big favor and hit the like and subscribe buttons, and comment about what you liked or disliked about how I made this video. It really means a lot to me, and it lets me know that I'm on the right path of what I'm doing. I greatly appreciate it. I plan on making fun stuff for all of you beautiful people watching to enjoy. This has been Azure Ninja 235, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya!